Hello and welcome everybody to our webinar, One-Click Archiving and Email Journaling with WorkPoint Express. We are very happy to see you all here and hope you will enjoy the webinar and hopefully learn a few things. My name is Florian Neuhold and I will guide you today through this webinar. So first, if you have any questions, that's very important for us. Do not hesitate to put them to the Q&As. We are very open to help you and try to answer the questions. So that's very important for us to get feedback, to get questions, to have some interactions here. So I promise you I will have an eye on this, and we prepared also a few minutes after the presentation where we were answering your questions. But first, I would say we start with a short introduction into this. So I will start with a short PowerPoint presentation. So as you can see here, we will start with we have today the WorkPoint Express. So one-click archiving and email journaling with WorkPoint Express. That's the topic for today. So today I'm your presenter as well. So Florian Neuhold, I'm working in the product management and marketing department at WorkPoint. And we have another presenter here, and I'm very happy that he is here. It's Alan Junker-Petersen, our technical product manager and also partner. So the topics for today, we will cover the WorkPoint Express. It's about the general introduction and also about key applications. And of course, we will also show you a demo. And the second point is email management. So we explore how WorkPoint, the WorkPoint email manager, can benefit your organization, that your day or your life and in your work is easier and easier. And also here we will show a demo solution. So a few words to start into the webinar about WorkPoint. So who are we? We are a Danish software company. And we're one of the first mover into the cloud because we understand that this is the future, of course. We're providing solutions for more than 25 years now, so quite a long time and a long experience as well. So one of our biggest, I would say, strong feelings and goals is that we are a close relationship with Microsoft. So we are Microsoft 365 Gold partner. That's a big thing for us. Also, we are partner driven, and that's because we have a global reach. So that's very fine. And also we have a flat organizational structure. These webinars are very important for us also to educate WorkPoint partners as well, but also like now in this webinar for a product, we try to educate as well customers to get new customers through these webinars as well. So, but don't trust me just alone. You see, these all points are very important. I think that's a big reference for our company. We are a Microsoft Gold partner. I will not go through every point, but you can see it here. We are a member of the Microsoft ISF board. We are named the 20 most promising SharePoint distributors in the review magazine. So we have a lot of references, and we are very proud on this as well. Some of the customers, I think that's every time interesting as a attendee of a webinar to see which customers does the company has. And if you can see on the left side, we have really a big range in which sectors we're working. So we have the banking, legal, manufacturing, accounting, but for us, very important is that we are focusing in a little bit, or we go a little bit into accounting, public sector and construction. But of course, in every company which has, of course, a lot of data and the needs of this to organize and things like this, we are very open, of course. So what all these sectors have in common is that they all have a Microsoft 365 strategy. That's very important, and all need governance. They have a need for business solutions, also for process support. They have a lot of documents and that are document centric, and of course they are information and knowledge heavy, so they have a lot of data. But that was it for me, just a short introduction into our WorkPoint company. Now for me it's very nice to see that we have a nice presenter here as well. So I want to introduce Alan. technical product management and partners. So I hope he is ready for us and can share his content and start to demo and show his solution.
Okay, thank you for that, Florian. I'm also happy to be here. I hope that you can all see my screen now. I'm sharing a slideshow here for you. And I'm going today to give you an introduction into WorkPoint Express, which we say is your WorkPoint solution right at hand. So we'll both talk a little about different features in it, and I'll give you some screenshots here in PowerPoint, and I'll also do some demos of selected things I think that would be of interest to you. First of all, Express is about accessing your WorkPoint solution. So you have a WorkPoint solution that you could build up for maybe for a project management system or a case management system, or many different kind of business application is being built on WorkPoint. But you need to have access to your data. You need it to have an easy access, so it's easy and straightforward to handle documents, emails, the projects, your clients, and so on. It should be accessible, and WorkPoint Express is designed to make WorkPoint available where the user needs it. And also it should be natural to use, so it should be having a seamless integration with the applications that you work in. And that was actually where the history of WorkPoint Express started, was that we first built WorkPoint without this tool. But people came to us and said that, well, yeah, we have a lot of, especially emails in Outlook, that we need to handle somehow, because a lot of knowledge is being sent to us through Outlook, and also, of course, we send a lot of information there. So somehow we need to have that information saved in the right location in our system, so we have documentation for all communication being done, for example, within a product. And with WorkPoint Express, it's possible to work directly in Outlook or from one of the other Office applications like Word, Excel, or PowerPoint as well. So in the daily work where you are sitting in Outlook and sending email, for example, attaching file, receiving files, and so on, you will have directly access to our WorkPoint using the WorkPoint Express plugin. And the idea is that you can use that, so we make sure that you collaborate with your colleagues. If you send emails across a team, for example, you can all share the same email through the system. And using our tool, you can manage and structure all the emails and documents directly from Outlook. And often we actually say that a lot of the work that you need to do in WorkPoint, you can actually do that directly from this WorkPoint Express. And we actually have many end users that are only using this plugin as a client for our system. It's possible to journal and archive emails and documents using drag and drop, and also some other tools that I'll show you directly from Outlook. And that was actually the main objective when we started, was that it should be easy when you receive an email to have it saved in the system, so you have a full documentation of all communication. And also you can find your project or a case or whatever you're working on, and you can make sure that the email is being saved in the right location there. And if you see here a screenshot of Outlook, you will see that our plugin is the tool that you have on the right side of the screen, where it says WorkPoint Express, and you have access to the solution. And this is the place where you will see Express. This is in the right side of either Outlook, Word, Excel, or PowerPoint. And this is from here you can interact with the system. But I think I will just go to a demo of the application. So if I change here to my Outlook, this is just the standard desktop Outlook that I have here, where I have installed WorkPoint Express on top of that. And what that means is that I actually have access to my WorkPoint solution directly from Outlook now. I can browse the various modules that I have in WorkPoint, for example, look up a company or a contact, or find a project, as I have preloaded here. And if I find a project, I can actually see all the content of the project. I can also use views and things like that you probably know from SharePoint. So I could choose that, well, I'll only search within my projects. I will search in all projects, and I can actually create different filtering on the projects that I see, so it becomes even easier for me to find a specific project. I can also search throughout the whole system directly from this tool, so I can find a document or any element across all things I have access to. And this also means that I can search inside documents, inside emails directly from this plugin. We have favorite control, so I can mark a project as a favorite and make it easily accessible directly from the tool here. But as you see here, I have loaded a project, and within the project, I have different boxes of things I can look at. For example, I have a library of documents here. I have a library of emails, tasks, and so on. And if I start with the documents that I'm seeing here, you can see that I can see all documents within the projects, all folders. I can navigate to the folders directly from here. And if I select a specific document, there's a lot of things I can actually do with it from here. I can choose to open the document here and edit it. Then Word will open the document, and I can work as usually from there. I can do all things that you would expect, like cut and copy the paste or paste it in somewhere. I can delete it. And I can do things like showing a preview, for example, of the document. And doing that, you see here, there's an example here of the preview being loaded. I can also see the properties of the documents. I can see there's an ID on it and there's some status being set. Moving back to the preview, I'm also able actually to switch between different documents, and the preview will load. And actually the preview here, if you don't want it to be this window on top of your Outlook, it can also be shown at the screen and just below the library here. That depends a little on how you would like it to work and how big it should be. But that makes it very easy to find all your documents, work with them, easily get in preview, and do a lot of things there. It could also be other things than documents that you look at. It could, for example, be a list of tasks that you want to view here. And as you can see here, I have a list of tasks being showed here with all the metadata that I have on the task. I can see who have they been assigned to and so on. And I can also, again, change the view so I can see different things. For example, I could choose to group all my tasks here by which stage of the projects they have been created in. And I could actually also do even more grouping. Say I also wanted to be grouped by assigned to. So a lot of options. And if you know SharePoint, where all the data lies, you will see that this is a way that we can actually have the functionality that you have from the list of SharePoint being used directly in Outlook here through using this tool. So as I said before, a lot of the work that you need to do, you can do directly from in here. One of the things that started this journey of creating this product was actually we need to be able to save our emails when we are sending and receiving emails. So one of the things I could do was that you can see here I received an email now from Florian. I could say that I want to save this email, and I could do that just by dragging that over to my email folder. And doing that, it will now upload the email to the library here. And if I go to the email tab now, you will see that the new requirement, here we go. Here we have the email has just been loaded into the solution. So that makes it very easy for the end user to save the email. And the important point of this is that this makes sure that the users want to do it. We really mean it when we say things should be easy for users to do. Because if it's not easy, a user will tend to forget to get the email journalized, or they'll just ignore it. And it's so important that we have that done all the time. This was an example of an email I saved, but it could actually also be a document that I'm receiving. So if I go here to the email thread here, you can see the message I sent to him was actually containing an attachment, and I can take that attachment and drag it over to the document library here, just in the same way that you saw before. And now it's actually being saved in the document library. And if there were metadata that I wanted that was required on this library, the system would have prompted me. So it makes sure that I got all the information being correctly saved in WorkPoint. So again, that makes it so easy to get the emails, the attachment into the system. So relevant information, for example, for a project will be saved in the right location with minimal effort from the end user. The other way around, it's also possible for me to use this tool when I want to send a new email. So in this example, I'm actually sending a new email. And again, I have access to the plugin over here, where it now remembers that I was actually looking at the development of a new pump project before. Again, it shows me all the documents from that project, and I could say that, well, this specific document, I actually want that to be saved or be added as an attachment, or I could also insert it as a link or even as a PDF. If I attach it as a PDF, the system will convert the document into a PDF and attach that to the email. I can also use the system to look up email addresses. So, for example, in this case, we have company and contact information in here as well. So if I want to find a contact, I have one example here. I can just take that and drag it directly into my mail. And then that way I get access to both contact information, documents that I want to attach, and can actually use this very easily to get an email sent. And if you could imagine that, for example, attaching a document as a PDF would be something that could easily take quite a few steps in many other systems. That would be something like, well, take the Word document, open it, save it as PDF to the desktop, go into Outlook, and then attach it from here. So by using the WorkPoint Express tool, you will do that with very few steps and clicks in the system. And that's also very important for us. Another thing that the system could do was actually that if I want to send an email, I'll just open a new one. I'll send that to Florian. Of course, I could attach information here, but I'll just send it for this demo here. The system can actually prompt me for saving the email. So immediately after I click send on the email, this dialog comes up where I'm actually being said that you just sent this email called webinar. Where do you want to save it? Then I could find some location in WorkPoint where I want to save it. I'll just click here on the emails, and I will journalize that email. So in that way, it's directly interacting with the user when they are sending emails, so we are sure to remember them about that they need to save it. Of course, the option here of having this dialog coming up every time you send an email might be a little intrusive to some people. So if you prefer not to have that, of course, that's an option. So you, as a user, you can decide, do I actually want this dialog to come up? And if not, you can disable it. You can actually also, as an administrator, force every users to be prompted for this if you really want to make sure as an organization that people are actually saving your emails. Another example of the way that we can journalize information is that I now have this email thread here where I send an email to Florian and he has responded. If I click on that on the latest mail here, you can see I have here WorkPoint Express down here, and I can click Quick Journalize. I can also do it with a keyboard shortcut. So if I'm pressing Control J, of course you cannot see that. You're actually seeing the same dialog as you just saw before. And if I had actually selected the thread, let's try to do that. It will actually take all the emails from the thread and put it into the dialog here. This is what we call the quick journalize. In that way, I'm now seeing that, well, there's two emails in that thread here. There's the initial email and then the reply. And then there's also an attachment to one of them. And then I can say that, well, both the emails, I want to save them somewhere in WorkPoint. And I can just find a location here. I might want to save the emails into this project that I have here. And by the way, the attachment that was sent, I also need to have that saved in the document library, and I want to that should go into the design folder. And I add that again here. And after setting that up, I can click journalize, and now the system will take both the emails and the attachment and save that into the system. So that becomes very easy for me to have multiple emails being journalized in a nice way. I think I will go back to my presentation now and tell you a little more about other features, because we also have a lot of other more, we can say, process-specific or detailed or advanced features in WorkPoint Express. The things I showed you in the demo was just mainly the core feature of Express. But one of the things you could do actually was also to integrate with some kind of a digital signature provider. That could be something like Pinero or Adobe Sign, or there are a lot of different tools that allow you to digital sign your documents. And that can be started directly from WorkPoint Express. So when you have the document in Express in Outlook, you can actually send that for a digital signature to someone else without actually leaving Outlook and the WorkPoint system. You could also, I showed you that you could convert a PDF that you want to save, attach to an email, but you can actually also just do a plain conversion. Click on a document in Outlook, click convert to a PDF. That's what I'm showing you here in the screenshot. And then files are being converted to PDF, and you can select which kind of PDF format or standard do you want to use. Should it be something for the UA standard, or should it be the standard 1.7 PDF format? That's up to you to choose as part of the system configuration. You can also merge PDFs together. So if you have multiple documents, you can actually put them into one PDF. And you can also save documents into zip archives if you want to, for example, use that for distributing a set of documents to somewhere. It's also possible for you to extend WorkPoint Express, do your own customization to the product. For example, you could actually add your own action. So when I click on a project in WorkPoint Express, you could actually add things like maybe a shortcut that will link to the ERP system, or do a Google search, or something that relates to the project. You can also build in Power Apps or your own web controls to show, or custom web controls to show more information. And that's actually the things I'm showing in the right example here, that I'm actually looking up a company, in this case ourselves, WorkPoint, and I've actually added a custom control here in Express, CVR lookup, which is the Danish company register, where I now on the fly will look up information from a website regarding the customer that I'm standing on. And this can be used for so many different applications. This could be for looking up more information in another system that you have that is maybe related to the project. It could be implementing a Power App that will be shown directly in WorkPoint Express, so you can build your own logic that you want on top of our system. So a lot of things is possible for extending our system. Yeah. And if you want to go even further, we also have a product called Email Manager that is available in two different versions. But first of all, we have a version where things are being installed in a database that is connected with WorkPoint. And then we have the new Email Manager for SharePoint, which is where we use the SharePoint as storage for all your emails. And what that does is it makes it even more easy for you to handle your emails. And some of the features that I'll show you a little in a while is that it's actually possible for you to get suggestion for where do I want to save an email. And that suggestion is rather intelligent. It is looking up previous email that you have sent with that customer. So if I'm sending an email to a client that I have, the system will, and I'll receive an email from that client afterward, the system will look up the information about that client and see where have I saved emails before. And I will be able to get some good suggestion for where to save the mail. Again, it's about making things easy. It's also about seeing where emails have been saved. I told you before that this is also about collaboration. So if I'm sending an email to a client and maybe the client is responding both to me and Florian, we will both basically receive the same email. And then Florian might want to take the email and save it into Outlook somewhere, save it into a project somewhere. But I will actually be able to see that in my Outlook. So I will be able to see that, well, that email that was sent to me and Florian is saved in 2 different locations, maybe. And I can actually see the locations directly from Outlook. And I can see that, okay, Florian has already taken care of that email, so I don't do it again. The final feature, which I will talk about today, and that's actually a brand new feature of the email manager and also WorkPoint Express, is that we are now able to synchronize folder in your personal Outlook folder system to WorkPoint. And this I'll try to demonstrate to you because that's a brand new thing that most of you have probably not seen yet. If I go to this environment here, again, I'm in Outlook. I have my WorkPoint Express here. I've loaded a project and I have the email tab here. And right now the email tab is actually, or the email library is empty. So you can see there's no email in here. On the same hand, I have in my left side of the screen, I have my folder structure in Outlook. And I know that many of you users actually build up big folder structures here in the left side of Outlook with your own folders representing the projects and the work that you are doing. And one example is here that I've created a folder called My Project, where I've added, I think, about 3 emails here, as you can see. But right now, they're actually not stored in WorkPoint. And I could, of course, just select all these 3 emails and drag them over. But some users actually prefer to use these folders for different purposes. And there's also some benefit of keeping in your own folder structure. But what I can do now is that I can click here on the folder, go to my WorkPoint Express settings, and here it will request me to map this to WorkPoint. So what that means is that this specific folders, I can map that into a location in WorkPoint. So I'll open my project here. And I find my email library here. And I map that directly from this system. Doing that, I will now be able to have my folder over here being synchronized with WorkPoint. Because I've just did the mapping now, I'll just start a synchronization, synchronized with WorkPoint. And what happens now is that a job is being started at the engine of WorkPoint. And that will now take all the emails from this folder and put them into the folder in WorkPoint automatically. Typically, this will take 20 to 30 seconds. So I'll just do a refresh over here and see if they're coming in yet. Not yet, but they will be here in about, I'll say 10 seconds. So let's hope that works. But the idea is that now we have in the engine of WorkPoint, we have a registration of the mapping between a folder in a personal Outlook and in WorkPoint. And now we have them here. You can see now that the 3 emails was being loaded into WorkPoint, all the metadata is being filled out with from to, and it actually worked just the same way if you have done it manually. But the whole point of doing is that in the future now, when I'm receiving an email, instead of dragging the email directly to the email library over here, I can now just take that email and put that into my project. So that might be the way that I'm already working. And now the system will just support that you get your emails journalized automatically. Again, it takes a few seconds, but hopefully we'll be able to see that in the demo before I stop. But the email I just added into that folder will be here in a few seconds. Yeah, here we go. Now you can see that this email from Microsoft was uploaded automatically to the system, and I actually didn't need it to do anything using the tool over here. And you can say, why do you actually want to do that? Because you could say that it's just as easy as dragging things over to the library here as it is to your folder. But in that way, we can actually do things like setting up rules, for example, in your Outlook that will forward emails to your folder and it will be picked up. You can also use other email tools or clients like on your mobile phone. So if I'm standing on my mobile phone where I can also move an email to another folder in my Outlook, this will also be picked up. So this is not something running on your desktop. This is something running in the engine of WorkPoint that monitors all these emails coming into that user. So this demo kind of finalizes what I would like to show you about WorkPoint Express today, and I think I'll give the word back to Florian now.
Thank you very much, Alan. This was very, very interesting. I will share my screen again to get the questions on it, or we have one slide with the questions on. Time for questions. Alan, just for you, I sent you the question as well because there are some of them a little bit longer. So I will definitely read it because then everybody know what we are talking about. But of course, it's easier maybe for you when you read it for yourself as well. And in the first question is a little bit a language problem for me. So so I hope you can answer the first question on your own. Maybe you can read it and then can answer it.
Yeah. Someone is asking, when will create document from template get fixed in WorkPoint Express 6? To my knowledge, that should be working. I don't know that. I guess there must be some specific ticket about that that we can follow up on. But if I go here to my system, and of course you're not seeing my screen anymore, but I could have shown you that I can do that directly from Express. So, but I think you should get in contact with our support team if you have any issues there.
Okay. So normally for everybody, normally it should work. Am I right?
Yeah. I haven't heard that this didn't work, and I can give you a demo of this if you want. That's not a problem. But if you have any further question in regard to that, we should probably take that after the webinar here.
Yeah. So the second question is, so we use WorkPoint Express to save received and sent emails from our members. If I would like to save both the ingoing and outgoing email, I will have to find the member when send the email and find the member again in the right side of the screen. When I want to save the received email, it means searching for the member 2 times. So that's the question I meant. Also, it's a very long question, so I think that's easier to read it by your own.
Yeah. I think when you want to sending or saving the ingoing and the outgoing email is a thing that will naturally be split into 2 times. So this will not be something you do at the same time probably. So first you will receive the email maybe, and you will journalize that, and then you will send it afterwards a reply. But what you actually could have done was that if you waited with journalizing the first email that you received, you could have used the quick journalize that I showed you, where you are actually able to click quick journalize on the thread, and there you can pick both the emails that was being sent and also the email being received in the same step. So you only need to find that in one step. So I think that's possible. But of course, if you start by sending an email outgoing, and then you get an email back the following day, you'll need to do the search again. Having that said, we are actually working on in the future supporting a little more intelligence regarding that, so future replies to a thread could get automatically saved in WorkPoint. But we are not there yet, but this is actually something that we are working on.
Perfect. So then we go on directly. That's hard work, Alan, I know. What is the easiest way to journalize one single email and add properties at the same time?
Well, I actually think that it kind of, if it's a single email, I will just use the drag and drop, where you drag it into the to the document or to the email library. And what you can set up in your setting is that you can just determine when do we want to be prompted for these properties. You can either choose that you are not prompted at all. You can choose that if it requires metadata, so if you have properties that are mandatory, it will prompt you, and you can also decide that you will always be prompted. So immediately after dragging the email into the email library, you'll be prompted with the property dialog where you can fill out the information in that step. I think that's the easiest way to do it.
Perfect. Then we go to the next one. Is it possible to add a create new case button in WorkPoint Express where it opens a Power App instead of standard WorkPoint for creating a new case?
Unfortunately, that's not currently possible, as I remember. We definitely have that as a request for the product, and it's also something we have looked into. But as I remember, this is still not possible to do. We have two options. We can use the standard SharePoint form, or you can use our visage that we have for creating a new case, for example. But right now, it's not possible for us to, or we haven't implemented the support for a Power App directly yet. But it is definitely on our wish list.
Perfect. I have also two new questions. I did not send it to you, so now it's a surprise. What version of WorkPoint Express are you using, Alan? Because I cannot find the preview version in my WorkPoint, and I have the version for you as well. It's the 6.112.
Yeah. There's a little catch with this. I don't remember what specific version I'm running, but it is working in that version that you have. The thing is that there is, and that is also documented in our support portal, that you must, in your settings, when you added your site in your WorkPoint Express settings, there's a, well, I actually think I should show you that. Can I take the screen, Florian?
Of course you can. That's absolutely no problem.
It will probably be too difficult for me to explain.
Yeah, yeah, it's easier and better to show it.
So I'll check the screen now again. I'm back in Outlook now.
So
yeah, you can see the screen now. In order to have the preview working, if you go to the setting of Express, and you'll find this is the demo that I done. This information down here, the tenant information, that need to be there, and that's because we need to use the Office Graph or the Microsoft Graph for doing this preview. So it's not very clear at the moment. It's listed in our documentation, but this actually needs to be filled out. So I'm 90% sure that this is your problem and why you cannot see it. Okay. You're muted, I think.
Well, now I'm back. So we have also another question we have. It's when two members in the email journalize the same email in the project folder, does the system see this or will it be stored twice?
So I guess that the question is if you're thinking about that question was regarding the last feature that I showed you. As I remember, if it's the same email with the same timestamp, it will only be either it'll be only saved once in WorkPoint, or it will be saved with where it's appending with another number. But doing this synchronization of a folder, there's not really anything that the user sees because it all happens behind in the WorkPoint engine. So you don't get any information about that. So I actually think that if you have both two folders being synchronized with WorkPoint, and you're mapped to WorkPoint, and you're putting the same emails in there, I think they will be duplicated in there. If you're using our email manager feature where you can actually see the location of an email being saved, you would be able to see that. So when you're going to save an email, you could actually see in the button of the email that you can see, okay, this has actually already been emailed or been saved into WorkPoint. So hopefully you wouldn't do it again. And if you actually do drop the same email in WorkPoint, you will actually be being told, or there will be a dialogue saying that, well, this email already exists, and do you want to override it, or what do you want to do with it?
We have one more, Alan. Is there a WorkPoint plugin for Office, for example, Word?
For Word, yes.
Yeah.
The Express plugin can run will run in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So if I'm standing in Word, you will actually be able to have access to all the more or less all the features that you saw just in Outlook. Again, I think I can just show you that very briefly.
You can steal my screen again.
I'll do that. You can see now I've just opened up Outlook here in the background. And again, you have access to WorkPoint Express. Now it just need to load up the solution here because I didn't prepare that. But after a while here, you'll see that now I have the same system here. And actually remember that I was looking at this contact before you saw in the demo, but I could find the project again, development of a new pump, for example, here, find a document library or where I want this document to be saved. And then we have this upload to SharePoint function here, which will then take this document that you have just written and save it in WorkPoint. And of course, you could also do a lot of other things directly from here. You could choose to create new content in here or look up information that you might want to use to create or to put in as content in this document. So there's a lot of options for here. And this is the exact same situation with Excel and PowerPoint, where you can do the same thing in there. Okay.
I think we are done with the questions. So there were quite a lot, but I think that's always a good sign that the people are totally into the webinar. So thank you very much, Alan, for the presentation and also for answering the questions. Yes, I think we are at the end. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Of course, one thing for us is very important that we wanted to say that, of course, thank you for joining the webinar. But if you are interested in another webinar, we have on Thursday, the 18th of November, our quality assurance with WorkPoint 365 webinar. And also in December, we will have a lot of interesting webinars, for example, the tablet handling, or one with the title WorkPoint on top of SharePoint, which is very, very interesting, I think so. So please check out our homepage. Also, our social media channels there will be definitely content on it when the webinars will start, or you will definitely get the invitation. So thank you very much, Alan, again. Thank you very much to you, and have a nice day. Bye.